Welcome back, traders. Let's move along with our MetaTrader 4 course. The next set of buttons here, we have three options here. We have one called bar charts, one called candlesticks, and one called line charts. First thing I have to do to show you the difference is to zoom in. Now zooming in does what you think it would do. It zooms in so you can see things a bit clearer. Now let's head back here. Bar charts are one way of showing how the currencies are moving. You'll see that each time has a bar that runs vertically, and on the left we have a tick, and on the right we have a tick. Now what this is showing us is that when this bar opened, the opening price is shown by the tick on the left and the closing price, the tick on the right, but during that time the market went up to this point and went all the way down to that point. So you can see it gives us four pieces of information. We have the open, the close, the high, and the low price. But our bar charts can get quite muddled, especially if you're trying to look at the market as a whole. It's difficult to see exactly where the ticks are. This is where candlesticks comes in. Candlesticks give us the same information, but instead of having a small tick, it rather makes a full body. And in order for us to tell the direction of the candle, the body is either filled or it's empty. In this case, by default, the black inside means that the market's moved up during that time, and the white means that it moved down. So let's have a look at this candle over here. This is a filled in white, which means that the top of the body is the opening price, the bottom is the closing price, and we have a wick sticking out telling us that the market went up to here and went down to there. So we have the same four pieces of information, but it starts becoming a bit clearer just by being able to track the colors and how things have been changing, and it's a lot easier for us to pick up patterns. So there is no real difference except that it is easier to read and easier to spot patterns, and that's really what we need. The next option is line charts. Now a line chart is almost completely useless once you've been learning how to use candlesticks, because all the line chart is showing us is the closing price at each of these sections. The problem with the line chart is that it's almost too simple. It's not showing us any kind of market sentiment or anything like that. For example, on the far left here we have this formation, which if anyone's been trading the price action, which we will be covered in the course, you will see that this is a short pin bar. If you're looking at this as a line chart, it looks like nothing. It's just a single point. But with the candlestick information, we can see that this is a reversal point, and we would have to obviously check and confirm it, but this means that we could have entered the trade at about this level and been trading all the way down here and made a lot of money. But now with the line chart, we don't really get that information. So I'm going to be leaving mine on candlestick. We briefly covered the zoom in and zoom out. There's not a lot to talk about here. It's really just zooming in and zooming out. You'll find if you zoomed in too much, then you don't really get a lot of history and you don't really see exactly what the market has been doing. Like this makes the market look like it's been very bullish, and recently it has been bullish. But if we have a larger look, we can see that this might be a bullish reversal, but the bigger trend, the much bigger trend, is still bearish. So you'll find that comfortable level for you to be trading on. This one will automatically arrange the windows that you have open. So I have three currency pairs open, well, two currency pairs and Bitcoin. So if I click on it, it'll arrange it like this, and it's not bad if you want to get a quick overview, but before you make a trading decision, you will probably want to just expand it out and just make sure that what you're predicting is going to happen. This button over here is the auto scroll, which is both an incredibly useful and very annoying button. If the auto scroll button is on, then every time there is an update to the price, it will automatically scroll it back. So it's very useful for that, because it means that when you're looking at the chart, you're looking at real time, and you'd be amazed at how many people have been looking at some historical data thinking, oh wow, let's trade a short off that, but they're actually looking at something that happened a few weeks ago. So this just kind of stops that from happening too easily. Here we have a shift button, and all this one does is gives you a bit of blank space on the right hand side. There are very few occasions where you would ever need this, but yeah, I do find a lot of traders like to have a bit of blank space. It helps them visualize where the market is moving. So if you're predicting that we've got this bearish reversal that seems to be happening right now, we've had a few ups, we have a trough, we have another peak, we have a trough, and now you're trying to imagine how far is it going to go, and you could start measuring things and say it should hit about this point. It just makes planning a lot easier. If you find that you have too much room, you can select this little gray triangle here that's hard to see, click and drag it to the right, and now we have less space but still enough, and we've opened up more of our historical data. The next button to have a look at is another very important one. This is our indicators list. Now if you remember, we did have access to it through the navigator, but this one is broken down into nice categories. So just as an example, if you wanted to load up that MACD that we looked at earlier, you could go to custom and then MACD, and you'll see it starts bringing up the values for the MACD. This is covered in the course, the online course itself. If you don't have access to it, go to jpmarkets.co.za. Just fill out that form. The course is free for you to attend. And once we've got the MACD set up the way that you want it, you click OK, and you'll see that it's been added. Now we're not going to be using the MACD just yet, so I'm going to remove it by right-clicking on it and delete indicator, and that will remove it from our screen. The next button here is periods, which is basically the breakdown of the time frame. You can select it. We have the various different time frames here. So if I select the M30, now it's going to show us in 30 minutes, 1 hour, and so on. Some of you may be wondering exactly what that means and how it affects us. If we have a look at each of these candlesticks here, each candlestick obviously has to be formed over a period of time, and that is what this period is. So it's saying in the 1 hour that this candle opened, it moved down to there, moved up to there, and closed there. So each candlestick in this case is representing 1 hour. If I switch it to a 30 minute, then each candlestick is representing 30 minutes, and so on all the way down to 1 minute and as high as 1 month. The next one here is for templates. Now this is something that I like to use a lot, and we will be going through how to set up a template soon. Just so you know what it is, once you have created templates, you can simply load it and put everything on top. For example, this is a crossover system that we teach inside the course, and instead of having to edit the chart and get everything done the way that you need it for every single currency pair, you can save it as a template and just load it on top. And there we go. Here is one of the strategies that we teach inside the course, and it's very easy. So that way, if you wanted to say look at Bitcoin and you wanted to check it with a particular strategy, you can just go ahead and load it up, and now you can apply everything that you've learned about Bitcoin as well as the strategy into one place.